Along with her great cooking, Chef Ouita Michel brings a unique backstory to this morning's dish. She was raised in Louisiana and Kentucky, which have been home ever since. After culinary school in New York, she returned to Bluegrass Country.
She's now executive chef and owner of 5 restaurants, including the popular Holly Hill Inn, in partnership with her husband, Chris. It being Kentucky, there's a bourbon connection. Yay! She's chef in residence at the Woodford Reserve Distillery. Chef Ouita Michel, good morning. Welcome to the dish.
Oh, thank you for having me.
How did you know bourbon is our favorite breakfast drink?
I learned that.
Yes.
I learned that upon arrival today. Well, I'm hoping I'm bringing a little bit of the bourbon trail to you here in New York City today.
Well, take us through the table. What have you brought for us today?
Well, it's summertime, and so we are having some. These are fresh peaches that have been macerated in Woodford Reserve and honey, then wrapped in a little country ham and grilled. And we brought a bourbon barrel beer bread. So we have a lot of different beers that are, aged in bourbon barrels, and that makes a lovely bread. We have a pork chop bourbonnaise, so we have a bourbon marinade, and then a bourbon barbecue sauce that we put over the top of those. And we have a street corn salad, which is just everything that you might have on Mexican street corn, but all taken off the cob and put into a salad, and then a black-eyed pea salad. We call that nebe salad. And then this is a Kentucky butter cake that's soaked in Woodford Reserve and lemon, and then with a Woodford Reserve whipped cream and
we do have a theme going
blueberries.
here.
I'm sensing there's some Woodford Reserve over here as well.
Well, the Holly Hill Inn is in Woodford County, and we ought to say that. So
I love these cups.
And this is the thoroughbred. This is the Woodford.
The Woodford Thoroughbred. This is called.
So
Giddy up, let's go.
Instead of a mule, we don't. We're horse country. We're not mule country. So yes.
And quickly, what's in the
Cheers.
drink?
So this is just ginger ale, a twist of lime, and Woodford Reserve. And if you make it with a Kentucky ginger ale called Ale 8, we call it the Kentucky Gentleman. So when you come to Kentucky, we'll make you a Kentucky.
I'll be there soon. I'll be there soon. Now, one thing in reading about you, I was really struck by. You were a champion debater.
I was. I won the national debate tournament in 1986.
Wow.
Yeah, I was only the second woman ever to win that tournament.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you.
Like 20 years
It's a
late.
moment that lives on in my, this is my 30th anniversary of victory, actually.
Well, so then how do you go from a political science degree, someone who's traveling really the nation debating, to this?
Well, one great thing about debate as a young college student is it takes you to Boston and Chicago and all around the country. And so, you end up eating in Indian restaurants and, legal seafood and all these places all around. And we had a club called the Best Stomachs of Debate. So we all loved wine, we loved food, and it grew out of a lot of friendship and a lot of travel.
So, but your dad wanted you to go to law school.
Oh, yes.
So how did you pull away from that?
He cut me off, and I moved to New York.
Wow.
I moved to Manhattan after the University of Kentucky, and I opened up the New York Times and got a job, my first restaurant job, on 22nd and 2nd here, a little place called the Health Pub, which was a macrobiotic restaurant.
And you met your husband here on Long Island?
Well, I met my husband the first day of culinary school. We both signed up to go to the CIA in Hyde Park, New York, and we met the very first day of school. And I convinced him. He asked me to marry him, after we had graduated, and the rest is history. Came home to plan the wedding and never left Kentucky again.
Well, that's what I wanted to ask you about, because when I look at your resume, you and your husband, the logical step seems like it would have been New York. How did you decide to go back home?
We had planned to come back to New York. I mean, I think what's wonderful about being in Kentucky is all my friends and family were there, and I had this sense of really wanting to cook for people that I knew and loved, and building a business around that. But also in Manhattan, accessibility was a big deal. In New York, how do you develop the capital that you needed to build a company? And we felt like we had a lot of accessibility in Kentucky.
Well, I'll say it for Anthony now. He's keeping that bottle, in case that wasn't obvious.
Thank you. Thank you for the...
As I get your signature on this dish, could we ask you, if you could share this meal with any person, past or present, who would that person be?
I have to say, since it's 4th of July weekend, 2 people. One, Thomas Jefferson, and the second would be my mom.
Wonderful pick.
I hope Thomas and your mom get along.
Chef Ouita Michel, thank you so much. And for more on the dish, please head to our website at cbsthismorning.com.